What's up, guys? I am back. Most of you guys probably know, but if you don't follow me on my other social media pages, I recently just fought, just a few days ago, actually. This was my first fight in 2 years and my first fight since having this podcast. I'll talk about my fight in just a few minutes, but that's the reason I've been MIA. I'm still learning the balance between fight camp and having a podcast and staying creative. So I just really wanted to prioritize my fight camp. Like I said, the last time I fought was April of 2022, I believe. I was also 22 years old. I feel like I just had some, I needed to mature. I needed to take a step back and really fix some personal things that were kind of bleeding into my decision making, whether it was in the cage or outside of the cage. So I definitely think those 2 years off were much needed. During those 2 years, I was still in the gym training 100%. I think people always assume that if you're not fighting, you're not training, or you're not improving, you're getting better, and that couldn't be further from the truth for me. Those full 2 years were some of the best 2 years of training I've had and mental development. I feel like I've been in the sport since I was 18, so it's kind of hard because every mess up I made, every bad decision I made or good decision I made has kind of been broadcasted to the world with social media or just on big stages. And I'm definitely not complaining because I love my life, but it can pose a few challenges, especially for a young woman's mind. So for me, I think taking a step back and really maturing, I guess, and working on personal growth outside of the cage and working on Kay as a person really helped me come back and be the best version of myself. So I did fight last Friday. I fought on Invicta FC 55. I was the co-main event. It was aired on CBS Sports. It felt so good to be back in the cage, and I haven't been this excited to fight in a very long time. I think I've been in the sport at a very high level for a very long time with eyes on me, like I just said. And I'm naturally very, very hard on myself. And I did a few interviews leading up to this fight, kind of discussing it. But to dive a little deeper, when I signed with the UFC, I was 20 years old. And even before that, I was fighting on the Invicta stage. I had a lot of eyes on me. I always had a lot of feedback, whether it was good or bad, from fans and other people that I didn't know. But signing with the UFC at 20 and being exposed to a much larger fan base, and that can mean good and bad things. It was really hard for me. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I was the youngest fighter in the UFC at the time, and I won in my debut. I got an amazing armbar against the very talented Jinh Frey, and I got the $50K bonus. I was on cloud 9, and I took that fight on short notice, and once I was on the come down of that high, I really buckled down and put a lot of personal pressure on myself. And I feel like what made me special before I got to the UFC and even in my UFC debut was I'm always on the hunt for a finish, on the hunt for a submission. I'm very aggressive. I don't doubt myself. I am 100% confident in everything I do. And I feel like when I fought my last two UFC fights, I was a watered down version of myself. I wasn't attacking things. I almost had too much respect for my opponent, and not my opponents, and not in a bad way, because obviously anyone in the UFC is going to be tough, but you have to respect yourself enough to know you're going to beat anything your opponent throws at you. And I still think I could run those fights back and win, but I mean, it is what it is, and I wasn't at my best mental or I guess physical peak even at that point. So with all that being said, I think taking the 2 years off really, really helped me. I'm a different person. I'm a different athlete. I feel like I'm a grown-up. I'm much more well-spoken. And of course, in that time off, I had, people saying negative things and whatever. But I think people forget that us fighters are humans. And, I'm 24 years old now, and most people are just starting at the sport at 24 or don't even make it to the highest of the highest levels until their later 20s, if they even make it there. So for me, I really had to take a step back and really give myself credit for how far I came, and also give myself credit for how much I endured outside of the cage as well while being successful in the cage. So all in all, these past 2 years have been amazing for my personal development, and I'm super excited to be back. As far as this fight camp went and like how the fight week and fight went in general. It was just amazing. This is the best fight camp I've had in a while. I felt the passion. I felt myself improving. I was very present. I was very confident, and it really showed in my fight. My weight cut was amazing. It was the most healthy weight cut I've ever done, and that's also another thing I've had trouble with in the past, is doing weight cuts in a healthy manner. I used to just kind of starve myself and over dehydrate myself too far out, and I have better guidance now, and it really showed. My weight cut went very smooth. I felt great. I rehydrated great. I did definitely feel some ring rust in the fight though, and I'm not gonna lie, because taking 2 years off, the game is always evolving, especially in women's MMA. We are constantly evolving, and I definitely felt a little ring rust, mostly with, I guess, like the adrenaline. You can't, no matter how hard you train, you can't replicate that adrenaline that you get walking out for a fight and processing those emotions in real time. It's one of the best feelings in the world, and sometimes it can be kind of hard to deal with, especially when you've had some time off, and that's the most time I've ever had off in between fights. So I'm definitely excited to fight again. I don't have anything set up yet. Obviously, it's been just a few days, but thankfully I have no injuries. I've been back in the gym already, just kind of moving around, right back to it. I'm very excited to be back, especially in the win column, and I can't exactly say what's next for me, but I'm definitely looking to fight one more time this year. It does kind of stink, because I feel like during my fight camp, there was a lot of good stuff in the fight world going on that I was like, oh man, I want to podcast about this, or I want to make a video about this, but just with time and priority, fight camp kind of took that. So especially, like I said, being back for the first time in 2 years. So I'm hoping my next fight, I will have a better schedule and better balance of everything. I am coming out with a few videos this week about the aftermath of UFC 303 and just stuff that's coming up, along with a couple podcasts I have scheduled. But overall, I am back, and I am excited. I am back podcasting. I am back in the fight game, and I am so happy to be back. So you can expect to hear more from me, and I hope you're looking forward to it.